Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today I have an update on my latest video on how my meeting with my caseworker went. Before we get into it, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like this video, share the video, and of course you can also go follow me on my Instagram. That's also called The Art of Being Ill. So the last video I made was kind of an update on my health situation and how I was doing because I've been struggling. And if you haven't watched that video yet, you can click the link that I will link up here and watch that video before you watch this one. So I promised an update on how it went with my caseworker. I had this meeting on November 10th with my caseworker because I was worried that I have a flex job and I was approved for flex job for 5 years. So when the 5 years is up, I was kind of worried what's going to happen to me. And it's only about a year and a half till the 5 years are up. So I started to get really anxious. And I booked a meeting with my caseworker because I couldn't walk around thinking about this and being anxious for a year and a half. It was really starting to affect my mental health. It went really well. I was barely in the door before she was like, there's absolutely nothing to worry about. She said, I can almost guarantee you that we will renew your flex job. She had never tried that people had been denied. She had only tried that in the case where the patient, the citizen, had themselves wanted to go back to full-time work because they felt like they could do it, or they wanted to try to work more and see if they could get out of the flex job system and so on and so on. So it was never for people like me with chronic illness that like nothing has changed at all for me. That was never, people like me, they had never denied. It was literally only if I wanted to, or if I had gotten way more sick so I couldn't even work anymore, then I needed to, be on some other type of disability. But since I am stable and I still have the diseases I have, of course, because they're chronic, and I'm still taking the same medicine, and there's really nothing that have approved in my health, and the fact that I was able to do my flex job, that I was able to do that, and still also, even though I have to say it's not like I have a high quality life, but at least I do get to go out sometimes and hang out with friends and family and do things I enjoy, not as much as I want to, but at least I can do it now because of my flex job. So for them, that indicated that the flex job is working, and it would be crazy to deny me the flex job to be renewed, because then I would just get sick again. Because the reason I'm stable is because I have time to rest and to just not do anything if that's what I need to do, and that I'm not like in a very stressful environment. Like it's all a part of why I'm stable. So she really so unless I for some reason got worse, or for some reason felt that I wanted to go back to full-time work, then there was really nothing to worry about. So that was the good news. So I promised I would also give you guys a little bit of a guide to how to handle these meetings with caseworkers. When it's something important and you don't want to accidentally say something wrong and so on. And I did prepare for this meeting, and I actually used ChatGPT to help me use some, to create some phrases and ask what do you think I should be aware of in this specific situation, and I did a lot of that. I was really prepared for this meeting, and I barely used it. I didn't get to use any of what I had prepared because, well, I hadn't even been there for a minute before she told me I had nothing to worry about. So that was, kind of disappointing because I actually put in some work to this. But now I can share with you what I learned with help from ChatGPT. Another really great tip: use ChatGPT also to help you figure out what your rights are in these kind of situations. It's actually a really good tool to help you prepare for these kind of things. But here is what ChatGPT and I figured out. That sounds so weird, like my buddy ChatGPT. But here's what I figured out with help from ChatGPT. So step 1 is to set the tone for the meeting. Make it very clear why you are at the meeting. For me, I would have said something like, I'm here because I need to know what happens when my 5 years of FlexJob is up and I need to get renewed. Because just the thought of not knowing what's going to happen and how this is going to play out is making me very insecure, anxious, and it makes me just have these catastrophe thoughts where everything just goes wrong, and it's really affecting my mental health. By doing that, you are justifying the meeting and making it very clear what this meeting is going to be about. It may also explain, in case you get upset in the meeting, maybe you start crying or something like that because you're a little overwhelmed. That will explain why you do that. Step number 2 is to prepare very short sentences for how this particular situation is affecting you. And try to avoid over-explaining. And this is why making these sentences before you go to the meeting can actually help you avoid over-explaining and accidentally saying something that might not help your case. So I came up with 2 sentences. One was that the insecurity is so overwhelming that it's affecting my mood, my sleep, and my everyday life. And I also had just the thought that I could lose my FlexJob triggers my brain into thinking in catastrophes. Step number 3 is to ask for what you are really there for, what you really want. This helps you avoid that the caseworker might think, well, she's just sharing feelings. You need to ask for what you want, right? What is it you want? We're not just talking about this, I want something from this. In my case, what I would have said if I had gotten that far in the process, so I would have said something like, what I need from you today is to evaluate my case and tell me how likely it is that I will be renewed, or how unlikely it is based on my case today, which is I work the same amount of hours, there's no changes in my health. What would your best guess be for where, what my chances are? That was weird. This is forcing the caseworker to actually give you what you want, right? And it's very important to, in my case, I might have added something like, I understand that you're not the one making the decision. I understand that, but I really need you as a professional who understands the system to give me a sense of where I am, right? In this way, you are very direct in what do you want. So make a short sentence where you say exactly what it is you're asking for today. Step number 4 is to keep focus on why you are there. And this can be a little bit hard because sometimes they might ask a question or do something or say something that kind of gets the conversation in a different direction. But it's very important to stay focused on the reason you are there. If you're feeling like the caseworker is kind of talking around the subject or not sticking to what it is you want from the meeting, by keeping your focus and having sentences ready that can help you get back to that. For me, something like, well, the reason I want to know, the reason I feel I need to know, even though there's 1 year half left, is because the insecurity makes me anxious and I'm actually worried about my mental health, and I'm actually worried whether I might have to go on sick leave again and can't even do my FlexJob. That's how much it affects me. So having these sentences that can help you get back to why you're there, so you stay focus. Stay focused and have sentences that helps you back to what you're focusing on, what the subject of the conversation is. Step number 5, have an exit sentence in case you get overwhelmed. Sometimes we get overwhelmed, and I don't know about you, but if I get overwhelmed in a meeting and I can't really stay focused and my brain is just running a little wild, then I start to ramble, right? And I might say something I really didn't want to say, something I didn't want to share, something that, you know, something that just is a little weird, maybe even like sometimes you can also get overwhelmed with feelings because maybe you're not getting the news you needed. Maybe you are, but you're kind of releasing the emotions, or, you know, whatever, you just overwhelmed in any kind of way. And having a sentence you can use to kind of take a step back and refocus so you don't get off topic is a really good idea. You could just say, I'm getting a little overwhelmed now. I need a minute to just refocus. In this way, you are letting the caseworker know that you need to gather your thoughts. You're letting them know why you might be silent. You're letting them know why you might almost be crying. Maybe you are crying, but just when you get into a situation where it's like, now it's too much, and now I might start rambling and saying something I didn't want to say, you can say, you know what, I'm getting a little overwhelmed. I just need to breathe for a while, right? So taking control, the overall point is take control of the conversation. Like I said in the beginning, you can use ChatGPT for this. I use ChatGPT to tell me, find what my rights were. What does the law say? What are my chances? What is it that I need to be aware of when getting my flex job renewed? How do I handle the conversation with the caseworker? And so on. And I fed it all the information, and ChatGPT helped me really, really try to be ready for the meeting. And also understanding a little bit about the rules myself, right? One thing, you can find any law online, at least in Denmark. The problem is that you often don't understand it, and ChatGPT is really great at that. Finding the law text and making it into something you understand. So honestly, use ChatGPT for these situations. It's actually, no matter what kind of meeting you're going into, it's actually a really good tool to help you get focused and kind of know where you stand before you go to the meeting. But I hope that this little update was good. It was a really good update, yay! And that you could use my little guidelines that I have to give a little credit to ChatGPT for as well. So yeah, I guess that was it for today. Have a blessed rest of the day, and I'll see you next time right here on my channel, The Art of Being Ill.